Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. It is Wednesday, November 23rd, the day before my favorite holiday. But obviously, I'm John June. Got my host, Greg Penniman. Greg, how are we feeling today, bro?
Feeling real good. Thanksgiving definitely one of my favorite holidays as well. Christmas probably number one for me, but Thanksgiving is a close second. Love that Thanksgiving has football games. We have 3 of them this year, so good to see that. I'm excited for them.
Yeah, man, Thanksgiving is definitely my favorite holiday. You get the 3 Fs: family, food, football.
Now we get one
Nothing.
more F. We get football, like soccer, real football, but actual football. And during the holidays, you get the World Cup during the holiday season. It's crazy. It's the first time ever. Insane. Oh man.
It's just upsetting that we have to talk about basketball sometimes, and then now you want to talk about soccer.
It's once every 4 years. It's once every 4 years.
Killing me, man. Absolutely killing me. We got to talk about soccer. I mean, don't get it twisted. I'll bet on a soccer game every now and then. We got to talk about soccer.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yo, Ronaldo's the reason Tom Brady's back in the league. It's true.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, you got quarterbacks getting kicked around like soccer balls these days.
True.
In New York, Zach Wilson's been benched for Mike F. and White.
White, yes. Yes.
So that's happening. And then also Bryce Perkins is going to be starting for the LA Rams in place of quarterback Matthew Stafford, who's dealing with concussion protocol. So Bryce Perkins gets to start there. In Carolina, Sam Darnold gets to start over Baker Mayfield against Denver. So that'll be interesting for, I guess, the Denver defense. And then Kyler Murray in Arizona gets his job back here as he returns from that hamstring injury that's kept him out the last 2 games. So definitely great news. Oh, also I knew there was another quarterback that got benched. Davis Mills gets benched for Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen.
Bro, right? Like, I don't know. It just kind of feels like we've been there with Kyle Allen before. Like, how much better? Like, it doesn't get much better, right?
It's Houston, though. I mean, they're trying to tank anyway.
I mean, I guess, but like, I don't know. I guess I just find it very weird that you would move on from Davis Mills to go to Kyle Allen. Like, is it? I don't watch Houston games. They're 1-8-1. Is it that bad? I really don't know. I'm not watching. I can't tell. Like, what's Kyle Allen gonna do? I don't know. Very interesting.
Get him that number 1 pick, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, they were getting it already anyway. So like, they're the only one win team in the league. Oh, so this ensures that they will not get more than 1 win, is what you're saying.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
Got it. Understood. All right. Well, this is our Thursday show. We have 3 football games to talk about with our wonderful Thanksgiving slate that we have here. But we are going to treat it like a Thursday show. We are going to do our streams of the week. We will break down these 3 games. If Greg, I didn't have bold predictions planned, but if you got props you want to throw out, feel more than free to give people a little something extra to be thankful for. But that wasn't on the agenda. But we will play some Get Money today. Made a realization that this is an 18-game season, so we could have a tie here when it's all said and done, which right now I believe I'm leading 6-5. But we could get a tie here when it's all said and done. So to avoid that, we're going to play this Thanksgiving slate. And that's also because I really do enjoy playing DFS on Thanksgiving. It's actually honestly one of my favorite plays, my favorite days to play DFS. So this will be a fun opportunity for us to do that as well. And yeah, without further ado, Greg, let's jump into those streams of the week. And
Hmm.
seems like you are wasting no time with this quarterback stream of the week.
No time reaching deep in the bag, but not to me. Gotta go with Mike White versus Chicago. I mean, he's 2% roster. He's pretty much free out there for them fantasy managers. Love the matchup. First of all, we know the Chicago corners and on the outside they're very attacked. Part of my reason, you take Joe Burrow as the start of the week last week, and just in general, quarterbacks have been killing them and wide receivers have been killing them outside. So Mike White's going to step into a good situation here. And last season, in the 4 games he played, he wasn't horrible. I mean, he almost averaged 240 yards per game. Threw a lot of picks in that last game, but before that, it was close to 2 touchdowns per game. So I think he won't kill you in a matchup that the Jets want to keep winning. They want to salvage their season at this point, not make any mistakes. I think with more experience under Mike White's belt, he can have a day here.
Yeah, Mike White obviously had a big game against Cincinnati a year ago. The 400-yard, 3 touchdown performance in his first ever career start. Fantastic day, but then had the injury, and that 4 interception game was against Buffalo, which at the
Hmm.
time was the number one defense in football. So it's really funny that you went with Mike White because I will be honest, Greg, I almost went with with Mike White. Uh, but I was like, John, there's no teams on bye this week. There's probably no need to go that deep in the bag. But he's definitely got the upside there, and there are weapons available to him in this Jets offense that he could take advantage of. So yeah, definitely an intriguing option. Um, someone else who was an intriguing option as well. Uh, for me is it continues to be an intriguing option is Jacoby Brissett going up against San Francisco.
Still
No,
10%
not going
roster.
up
That's
against San
crazy.
Francisco. Sorry, let me correct this. He's going
Yeah,
up
yeah,
against
they
Tampa.
are.
They're going up against San Francisco.
Oh, never mind. That was the
No,
Saints.
that's
Saints are
New
going
Orleans.
against San
Yeah, they're
Fran.
going up
Yeah,
against Tampa Bay.
yeah.
Going
Tampa
up
Bay.
against Tampa Bay. He's 10% rostering Yahoo leagues. Tampa Bay allows the 13th most fantasy points to the quarterback position over their last 3 games. Um, he had the 3 touchdown performance last week. Jacoby Brissett's been very, very solid from a fantasy perspective and just real life in general. So I just, you continue to roll him out there. The last start we're going to get out of him before Deshaun Watson returns to the lineup. But just to give you even more stats on the Tampa Bay defense, they've allowed um, 19 points to Geno Smith last week. They allowed 21 points to Lamar Jackson 2 weeks prior, and in between that, they played the LA Rams, who've been absolutely terrible. So, yeah, I would continue to roll Jacoby Brissett out there, especially with the Bucks lead, trying to defend that run game and Nick Chubb as best they can. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely like that. Surprised Kobe said it's still as low as 10%. Maybe most people just must be looking forward to Deshaun era, but he's been
I mean,
solid
I
all
think
year.
it's literally just like they look at Jacoby Brissett and they're like, yeah, no, I'm good. It's like how what people did to Geno Smith for like 6 weeks, except
Mm,
it's just not going to end with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, this is an interesting quarterback week, right? Like Mike White in Superflex leagues makes a ton of sense. Bryce Perkins is also another guy who, if I'm playing in Superflex, like he kind of makes some sense because he fits that rushing profile that we look for. Plays in
mm.
a high over under game, where he's going to be trailing against Kansas City. So definitely something to think about. But Greg, who's your tight end stream of the week this week?
Tight end streaming week, I'm going with Jawan Johnson. going against the San Francisco 49ers. He's 44% rostered. He's been pretty hot over the last 5 games as far as touchdown production. In the last 5 games, he's got 5 touchdowns. So, he's averaging 1 touchdown a game. Getting involved in the red zone, and we'll get you just a nice floor as far as yardage. Not too much, right around 40 yards per game, but that touchdown number is trickling up. I think he's going to continue his hot streak against San Fran. Andy Dalton's been seeming to use him a lot down in that red zone.
Yeah, Jawan Johnson is he's been a great value, and tight ends are touchdown dependent. He seems to be more touchdown dependent than most, but if he can get in the end zone, obviously we know the explosive weapon that he is. How many touchdowns does he have? I really want
He's
to know.
got 5.
Got
That's
five
all
this year.
all the 5 that he's had
Did
is in the last 5 weeks.
did he have 5 last year too?
I'm not sure.
He's got 9 in his career, so he had 4. I'm assuming he had 4 last year. Like, dude was just a touchdown machine. He had 4 touchdowns last year on 13 catches. This year he's got 5 on 31 catches.
That's crazy.
So.
That's crazy.
Oh man,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
no, I definitely love Jawan Johnson. Another guy that I love, I'm going Mike Gesicki, 37% rostered. This one is really all about the matchup here. I mean, the tight end position is absolutely terrible. Gesicki's a guy who's talented. Target share, isn't a huge number, but Houston allows the 5th most fantasy points to the tight end position over the last 3 games. So it's a shot in the dark. It's a high upside move, but I've got him ranked in QB and tight end 1 territory this week, just based on the matchup alone.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely flashed in some couple weeks this year, so he's been a streaming option in a lot of weeks.
Yeah, Greg, who you going with for your defensive streaming week this week?
Going Minnesota versus New England. No, they got destroyed last week versus Dallas, but they can bounce back this week. I mean, it is the New England offense, an offense that has been struggling a lot all season. It's the Minnesota offense that, in the last 4 weeks, they have 15 sacks. So they've been able to get to the quarterback, and that's not including, they didn't get anything last week, but I think they can get back to that, getting to the quarterback. 5 picks in the last 4 weeks as well. So they can create turnovers, and I think they'll be able to do it against the New England offense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree so much that I'm actually also going with the Minnesota Vikings against the New England Patriots. This really comes down to having the opportunity here to go up against New England. They're favored. They're at home. New England going into last week was a top 10 in terms of fantasy points allowed to opposing defenses, and then they went on to give out another top 10 day to the New York Jets defense, who, by the way, I was looking at them. They're just over 50%, but they should be higher. So go get the Jets. But yeah, Minnesota definitely in a great spot this week at home again against New England on Thursday night.
Yeah, definitely a good option.
Oh no, it's Kirk Cousins in a primetime game.
Oh man, I mean, is he?
Maybe you should play
Is it
New
the
England.
8:20 game?
Yeah, they're the 8:20 game.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, New England's probably rostered. They're definitely rostered over
Oh
50%.
yeah, they're rostered for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I
All
mean,
right.
probably go. I would have said Cincinnati again, but they've had so many juicy matchups and haven't come through. Yeah, it's not even like there.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because there's a lot of teams on bye. I think Kansas City was probably the top ad this week, going up against the Rams, and essentially what is a third string quarterback. Miami was a top ad. They're going up against Houston.
I mean, I think divisional game, New York and Dallas might be a low scoring game in general, just because it's divisional. New York Giants defense has been solid throughout the year, so another
that is a
sneaky ad.
true statement. Why don't you save that analysis for when we talk about it, Greg? Because we are going to talk about that coming up soon here. But first, we got to talk about the 7-3 Buffalo Bills traveling for the second week in a row to Detroit this time to take on the 4-6 Detroit Lions. This game is at 12:30 p.m. on Thursday. So if you are
I'm
playing
sure
anybody from this
they
game,
I hope
you say
they
what?
just stayed. I hope they just stayed in Detroit. Hopefully, I didn't go back
I
to
want to
Buffalo and
say
come
that
back.
they did, but then I feel like I saw there was a video. I got an alert of Von Miller reacting to the snow in Buffalo. So like,
Mm.
I don't know if that meant he was in Buffalo or if he just had a video of it or something. I don't know. I didn't click on the alert, but yeah, that would probably would have been the smart thing to do. Although, yeah, it's not that crazy of a trip to make. I don't know, whatever. But it's at 12:30 p.m. So make sure these guys, whether you're playing the Devin Singletaries of the world or you're playing Jared Goff and Superflex, that these guys are in the starting, in a actual position spot, not a flex or a super flex, because you want to maintain that flexibility throughout the rest of the weekend,
Hmm.
especially with Thanksgiving. It's one of those holidays. You're gonna be around family. You're probably not gonna get a lot of the news notifications and alerts and things like that. So, definitely want to maintain that flexibility throughout the weekend. So this game has a 53.5 point total, where the Buffalo Bills are 9.5 point road favorites. Um, in terms of weather, the beautiful thing about all these Thanksgiving games, they're all played in domes, so there's no weather concerns this week, or at least for Thursday. In terms of injuries for Buffalo, center Mitch Morse, he's questionable with an elbow. AJ Espinosa, the defensive lineman, he's doubtful with an ankle. Linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, defensive end Greg Rousseau, and cornerback Kyer Elam are all out of this game. And then for Detroit, wide receivers DJ Shark and Josh Reynolds are both limited participants. Cornerback Jeff Okuda, he will be out with a concussion. So, Greg, I'm gonna kick it to you. What do you think? How do you think this game goes down?
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take Detroit to cover, but I'm gonna take the Bills to win. Um, yeah, on Detroit side, I mean, sorry, on Buffalo side, Josh Allen, of course, QB1. Uh, Stephon Diggs is gonna be a wide receiver one along with him. They should have a monster game in this one. I mean, it is Detroit's defense. There's no reason why these guys are gonna finish at least top three, top one, and at the one at the position. Devin Singletary is also in the smash spot here, and the running game. I think James Cook has some value as well as can fall into that RB2 category in this matchup. But I rate him as a high in RB3. I think he gets used more here. Um, as Gabriel Davis also in a good spot here as a wide receiver too. Zay McKenzie, I think could be a desperation flex option for people. And then on the Detroit side, it's kind of their usuals. I mean, I'm not really trusting Jared Goff too much, so I don't think they get that over. But Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, both low in RB2s. I mean, Jamal Williams has that touchdown upside, so I'm gonna make him a strong RB2 option. And as far as the receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver one, and that's about it as far as the receivers. I mean, I think especially with the if Josh Reynolds was healthy, I mean, this opportunity has been there for him, but he's been hurt, and it seems like it hasn't been a second guy to really step up in this offense. So I'm looking at Amon-Ra and the two running backs.
Yeah, I really wanted to lean the under here for a variety of reasons, but really when I look at it, the Buffalo defense has really not been good, right? I mean, you look at what they've done these last few weeks, against Cleveland, against Minnesota, even against the Jets, who had success while trying to play around their starting quarterback. So, yeah, I think we do get the over here, but I do think Detroit covers. I do think that the Buffalo Bills do win this game. Josh Allen, I agree with you. He's a QB1, as is Stephon Diggs. Those two should have a big day. Uh, um, Gabe Davis, he's a wide receiver too. Devin Singletary, he's going to be in RB2 territory for me. Detroit's been actually, and I don't know if this has to do with their pass, their pass defense. I mean, they've allowed the second most fantasy points to quarterbacks in the last 3 weeks, but they've allowed the 30th most PPR points to running backs. So it could be that they're just a a pass funnel. That they're so bad as a pass defense that you know teams just are finding more success that way. But when I look at that, I downgrade Devin Singletary just a little bit, but he's still an RB2. Dawson Knox, he was more involved last week. Lands in as a tight end one for me this week, as Detroit allows the eighth most PPR points to the tight end position. For I agree with your sentiment about Isaiah McKenzie. Could be an interesting play in a matchup like this one. Where if Detroit does make it interesting, I think McKenzie could find some success. And then James Cook, I agree, should be on your roster ahead of this game. Again, this is really easy. It's Thursday. If James Cook does nothing, in the format that the platform you play on allows you to drop him, then you can go ahead and you can do that. But just having him on your roster in the event that something does happen to Devin Singletary, I think the upside alone is worth that. And then for Detroit, Goff is going to be in the QB2 range for me. I think you can get away with streaming him if need be, but with so many quarterbacks available this week, nobody on bye, I don't know if you necessarily have to. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a wide receiver one. I mean, if we could do starts of the week today, he probably would have been my start of the week because I love this matchup for him. Jamal Williams, he's an RB2. Swift will be an RB3. Swift, I think I'm going to say it again, probably get me in trouble. I think he has a ton of upside this week. Was more involved last week, has been a full participant in practice, not on the injury report with the ankle or the shoulder. So I do think in a matchup like this, if it does shoot out, Swift makes a ton of sense as somebody who should be involved.
Yeah, I can see definitely see that. Also like Dawson Knox in this game actually. It's been used more in the last couple weeks, targeting, and Detroit is bad against the tight end for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on to this next matchup as Greg's 7-3. Should have never gave him that eighth win. We were just counting it before it happened. Should have just never gave it
Yeah,
to him.
man,
Maybe we'll do it this
expectations.
expectations. But the 7-3 New York Giants travel to Dallas to take on the 7-3 Dallas Cowboys, where this game has a 44.5-point total, and the Dallas Cowboys are 8.5-point home favorites in the 4:30 slot. This could be right during dinner, right before dinner, maybe.
Mhm.
Like the appetizer. But in terms of injuries, Micah Parsons, he's dealing with a knee and an ankle. He's questionable for this game. I do think he does play. He did leave the game and then return, so I think he's okay there. Uh, Zeke Elliott, he's questionable with the knee. He's expected to play. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's questionable with an illness. And then for the New York Giants, Daniel Bellinger's out. Wan'Dale Robinson was placed on injured reserve. And then they have 4 offensive linemen, the Giants do, that are out for this game, including rookie offensive tackle Evan Neal. And then cornerback Adoree Jackson, he'll be out with a knee in this game. I will take the under here. I want to take the Giants to cover, but just being undermanned on the offensive line and undermanned in terms of weapons, I'm going to take Dallas to cover and Dallas to win. On the Dallas side, CeeDee Lamb, he's a wide receiver one. Tony Pollard, he's an RB1. I think he's got to be treated as such until further notice. Zeke Elliott, he's going to be an RB3 for me. Dalton Schultz, he's a top 5 tight end option. Dak Prescott, he's a higher end QB2. The Giants are pretty good against quarterbacks. And then for the Giants, Daniel Jones, he could always fall into a QB1 finish because of his legs. So I think he definitely has intrigue there. Darius Slayton is a wide receiver 3. He should see a ton of volume because no Wandale Robinson. Um, yeah, they don't really have much else going on over there. And then Saquon, he's a lower tier RB1 for me this week.
Yeah, I was ready to take the Giants to definitely cover and actually to win. They seem to do well in Jerry's world, but those offensive line injuries are not going to help this matchup for sure against Michael Parsons and those boys. So I'm gonna go with the under and Giants to cover, but I'm gonna take Dallas to win. On the Dallas side, I like Dak as a borderline QB1. I love Tony Pollard. This week and pretty much every week, and now at this point, he's definitely the running back I want. And over Zeke, have him as a strong RB2, with some RB1 upside. Zeke as a RB3, but I could have RB2 upside. He's been playing solid this year as well. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 1. Dalton Schultz, also agree with you, top 5 option at that tight end position. Dallas defense, great matchup. On the Giants side, Daniel Jones, his analysis is the same every week. Yeah, he can definitely be a QB1 with those legs and just what he could do throughout the game. As far as the options outside of that, Saquon, of course, top 3 running back option, and then it's Darius Slay, and that's it, man. I got to make it happen with those boys, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what are you going to play? Davis Sills, Richie James Jr. I'm
Oh
not doing the
man,
Richie
Richard
James thing
James had
again.
his chance.
He had
Richard
his
James had
chance.
his chance.
Not
Uh,
doing it. Yo,
yeah.
maybe they sign Odell
Oh,
right for the game. I did fail to mention DJ Shark. Actually, we were talking about the Detroit Lions game previously. DJ Shark is set to play in this game.
okay.
Any intrigue there as we search for another passing option alongside Amon-Ra St. Brown?
There is some intrigue. I mean, Josh Reynolds, while he was healthy, has success. So I mean, they're pass. They want to pass the ball on that team. I mean, I wouldn't mind him being a stash for this game and seeing what happens. But if you're really that desperate, I mean, if you want to take the shot, wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Yeah, I think I agree, especially if you're playing DFS and you want
Yeah.
some cheap exposure to this matchup here. Um, all right, let's talk about the nightcap. The 6-4 New England Patriots traveling to Minnesota
Oh man.
to take on the 8-2 Minnesota Vikings, where this game has a 41.5 point total, and the Minnesota Vikings are 2.5 point home favorites. In terms of injuries, center David Andrews for New England, he's doubtful with a thigh injury. Bunch of other guys questionable in this matchup. And then for Minnesota, Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle, he's out with a concussion. Few other guys questionable in this matchup. Greg, where do you lean?
Yeah, man, I gotta go with the fact that it's prime time, man. It's it's prime time. Kirk Cousins is just a different quarterback in these states. There's no real analysis to that, but I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Pats to cover, and I'm gonna take the Pats to win. Uh, Defensively, the Pats have been hot lately, and it definitely doesn't bode well for Minnesota, especially after seeing what they did last week, getting the doors blown off 40-3. Another tough defense here. Tough rush defense, tough everything. So on the Minnesota side, Kirk Cousins, more in that superflex category. But if you can find a better matchup, definitely look towards it. There's no buys this week, especially too. Um, as far as the running back, Dalvin Cook, bad matchup as well. But you're not benching Dalvin Cook. You're playing him. I'm playing him as a strong RB2 with some RB1 upside, borderline RB1. Justin Jefferson, you're also starting him, but I think all these talents kind of get a slight downgrade. Jefferson being a lower in wide receiver 1, uh, probably fade Thielen as well. And TJ Hawkinson is probably your safest option as far as because he's a tight end. He's still a higher end tight end. And then on the Pat side, um, Ramondre Stevenson, and that's really it. Jacoby Myers, I can play as a wide receiver 3, low end wide receiver 2, but it's really Ramondre Stevenson I'm looking at the lock.
Yeah, I am going to like I don't know, man. Every time I try to pick against this Kirk Cousins in primetime thing, it like literally never works out for me. I'm like,
Last
nah.
game he had 3 picks, one
That was
touchdown.
against Philly.
That was against Philly. Yeah, yeah. I
Like,
mean,
all right? When's the last time he won a primetime
oh,
game?
they played the Packers, right?
When
Early
was
in the
that?
year, and they
That was in primetime.
looks.
That game was like 4 o'clock.
Oh,
Oh no,
mm,
you're right.
yeah, right. The Packers game against
Yeah,
on 9/11.
that was in primetime.
It looks like it.
No, I'm looking at this. I think I'm looking at the same thing you're looking at.
Oh, probably a CBS Sports article. Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't remember that game being in primetime.
me either. Me either. But it looks like his record is 2-10 in these games.
And that, oh, man, no, it can't be 2-10. What? What is this list I'm looking at? This can't be right. Nah, this is not. This is his like last previous starts, I think, before that Eagles
Oh,
game.
he's 2-10 on Monday night, specifically on Monday night.
Okay. Well, either
I
way,
mean, but it's Thursday night.
it's this Thursday night. It's Thanksgiving. I'm gonna go with the under. I'm gonna go with Minnesota to cover. I'm gonna go with Minnesota to win the game. On the Minnesota side, Justin Jefferson is a lower tier wide receiver one only because Bill Belichick is going to do everything he can take him away. Dalvin Cook, he's a higher end RB2 for me. TJ Hawkinson, a tight end one. I will play a little devil's advocate. If he's going to try to take away Justin Jefferson, does that mean Adam Thielen gets more love?
I mean, he hasn't been good in
No,
general,
he hasn't.
so
I'm just
it'd be
asking.
tough to. uh, that's tough. That's tough, man. I mean, he's getting targeted, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, he's got an 18% target share the last 3
Yeah,
weeks,
he's
averaging
getting he's
14
getting
yards a
targeted.
catch.
It's just that Patriots are their defense is pretty good, especially against wide receivers. I mean, all around they've just been
Well,
really good.
what if I told you in the last 3 weeks they've played Zach Wilson twice and they played Sam Ellinger?
But now they're playing primetime Kirk. You know what I'm
Which is basically the same thing, right?
saying? Yeah. uh, uh, mm,
I mean,
maybe. I mean, because 7+ targets in his 8 of his last 9 games. I mean, he gets targeted. It's just tough to trust that
yeah, no, for
his
sure. I think
production.
it's more of like a deeper league play, DFS
Yeah,
play. Um, something I just thought about. But Kirk Cousins, yeah, he's not on my radar this week. And then for New England, Ramondre is an RB1 potentially. He could be the RB1 this week, just based on the matchup and his game script proofness, if you want to call it. And then Jacoby Myers is probably a wide receiver 3 for me.
or Ramondre Stevenson, man, carrying his team right now.
For sure. And carrying fantasy teams out there as well. All
Word,
right, let's
word.
without further ado, let's jump into some get money.
Yes, sir.
So
This number one pick is interesting because you can't get 2 back-to-back number one picks. That'd be kind of
no,
messed
yeah,
up.
I was thinking about it. Um, it's an even week. You got the number one pick last week. I think for the sake of keeping everything kosher, because it's much easier to remember that I have the first
Right.
pick in even weeks. So I'll let you get the first pick, Greg.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Uh, I'm gonna take Josh Allen, the quarterback, 9,500.
Yeah, that would have been my first pick too. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I got a
Not a lot of
plan.
options. It's only 3
No,
games.
there's not a lot of
Tough.
options, but you got to build around that. So
True.
have fun. I
Yeah,
did.
no, because I already know I'm about to get sniped.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. I had a whole plan for this. I was like, I made two lineups. One where you took Josh Allen, and one where I got to get Josh Allen, and then I just got to build around that. So, all right, I'm gonna take Ramondre Stevenson 7,200.
Mm-hmm. Because of that, I'm gonna take Stephon Diggs, 9,300 wide receiver.
I wonder how you're gonna afford all this. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Amon-Ra St. Brown 7,600.
I'm gonna take CD Lamb 7,900 at
This
my
is gonna be
flex.
really interesting.
Yeah, I'm taking all these bigger hits first, so I have a chance. All these players is gonna give me my points.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take Tony Pollard 8,500.
Okay, I'm gonna take Darius Slayton 6,400 wide
Oh man,
receiver.
that sucks. That kind of sucks. Sort of kind of sucks. Oh wait. Oh wait. We're good. We're good. Um, Darius Slayton was a good pick. Mm, okay. As my RB in my flex, I'm going to take DeAndre Swift.
Word. I'm gonna take Jamal Williams 7,100.
Yeah, how are you affording all this? I really have
I
no idea.
it, I had $200 left with the lineup I have too. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Uh, as my defense, I'm gonna go with. Well, wait a minute. Can I do this? Oh man, you took Slayton, so I have to
Hmm.
go a naked Josh Allen. Looks like, I guess, or Daniel Jones. I'm gonna go with Gabe Davis as my wide receiver too.
Okay, I'm going to take James Cook as my second running back, 5,500.
I'm gonna take Noah Brown as my wide receiver 3 for 5,200.
I'm gonna take Isaiah McKenzie as my wide receiver 3. It's 5,200 as well.
I'm gonna take Dawson Knox as my tight end for 5,500.
I'm gonna take Hunter Henry at my tight end, 4,900.
I'm gonna take the Dallas Cowboys defense for $5,000.
And I'm gonna take the Patriots defense, 4,200.
How did you?
I
I'm
have
like
$0 left.
mind blown. How you were able to afford all this? Like
Hunter
legit.
Henry and James Cook are Hunter Henry's 4,900 and James Cook's 55.
Oh man, this is
Oh,
gonna be.
McKenzie's pretty cheap too, 52.
You even stole my backup lineup. Like I was like, oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna get CD Lamb because, and I was like, oh, if he does that, I should be able to afford Stephon Diggs. Like, plan was just ruined. Greg
Oh
just
man, I
knowing
hope
how
it
to
works
kill.
out.
He said you hope it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't because um I'm just in here trying to update my spreadsheet because even when I was like, oh yeah, I guess this will be fine. I'm not gonna have to make any crazy changes or anything like that. All right, so Greg, why don't you read off your lineup then?
Josh Allen, quarterback at 9,500. James Cook, my RB1 at 5,500. Jamal Williams, 7,100. Darius Slayton at 6,400. My wide receiver 1, Isaiah McKendry at the wide receiver 2 at 5,200. Stephon Diggs at 9,300. Hunter Henry, 4,900. CD Lamb at 7,900. And at the flex, and then the New England Patriots defense at 4,200.
So I've got at quarterback Daniel Jones 7,500, at running back Tony Pollard 8,500. As my other running back, I'm gonna move Swift up because he plays at 12:30, and that is the right thing to do. DeAndre Swift 6,200. At wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown 7,600. As my second wide receiver, Gabe Davis 7,200. As my third wide receiver, Noah Brown 5,200. As my tight end, Dawson Knox 5,500. At in my flex, Ramondre Stevenson 7,200. And then as my defense, the Dallas Cowboys defense 5,000.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this will be interesting. So, but everyone, want to say thank you. Want to say have a happy Thanksgiving. We definitely appreciate every single one of you that listens to us and watches us, and supports the show. We're definitely grateful for all of that. So, spend time with family, with your loved ones. Again, enjoy the Thanksgiving. Saturday when we break down the remaining slate of games. But until next time, y'all, have a good one. Enjoy the Thanksgiving. Get all that food.
Yes, sir.
Eat it up. Enjoy football. Enjoy the World Cup. And again, enjoy spending time with family and loved ones. Have a good one, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're out of here. Peace.
We out. Yo. Hello.
Yeah.